Hello everyone, welcome to the Makri Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I'm going to continue with your same module, that is database design concepts, and the same chapter, that is new chapter, that is chapter number 6, that is a relational algebra. We can say the relational procedure or the relational table, that is how we are using the relational table. That is the topic is the relational algebra, right? So let's start with the previous class session. That is what we have covered in the last class. Then move to the chapter number 6. That is a new chapter, new concept, and the new technology that is used. And the important chapter, that is most of the question arises from this chapter also. That is the relational algebra. So let's start with the previous class session. What we have covered in the last class. In the last class, we have taken out the chapter number 5, last few topics. That is advanced aggregation feature. That is what are the various advanced aggregation features, or what are the various we can say the advanced feature that is available in the advanced SQL, that is the advanced aggregation feature. The aggregation support in SQL, which we have seen earlier, is quite powerful and handles most common tasks with ease. However, there are some other tasks that are also hard to implement efficiently with the basic aggregation features. In this section, we study features that we were added to the SQL to handle some tasks. The first of the topic or first topic that we have studied is the ranking. That is a what is a rank? That is a how to maintain the rank. So finding the position of a value in a larger set is a common operation. So that is also done by the ranking. So if I want to rank something, if I want to rank the database, if I want to rank the table, that is a relation, that is done by the ranking methods. The SQL statement that is used to create the view student grades is somewhat complex, since we must convert the letter grades in the text relation to the numbers and weight the grade for the each course by the number of the credit for that course. That is the what is the definition? That is the ranking of the table, or the ranking of the, we can say, the value that is given, that is the position of the value that is given in a large set. That is a ranking. And the ranking is done by with an order by specification. So there is an order by specification that is available. So whenever I want to do the ranking, that is ranking is done by the order by specification, order by clause. The following query gives the rank of each student, that is a select ID rank over order by GPA descending as S rank. So whatever the S rank that is available, that is done by the rank that is done by the GPA, and this is from the table that is the student grades. So this is order by clause that we have used in the ranking part. Then we have discussed what are the various differences between the rank and the order by clause, or how to use the order by clause, that is a group by clause that is used in the ranking part. Then we studied about the windowing, that is what is a window. So whenever we are using, or whenever we are computing the aggregate of a fixed range of time, that time range is known as window. Window is a time range, that is whatever the data that will be done in the time period, that is known as a window. And the window may overlap with each other, in which case a tuple may contribute to more than one window. So the window sometime may contribute with each other, may contribute with one another. That is a window. As an example of use the windowing is the trend analysis. So whatever the trend analysis that is available, that is also done for the trend analysis. SQL provides a windowing feature to support such queries. Suppose we are given a total credit, that is a year, and the num credit, that is giving the total number of credits that is taken by the student in the year. So how to done, or how to manage that one? That is select year, average, AVG, num credits over order by the year, row 3 preceding as average total credit. So whatever the value, whatever the data that is given, that is given by the that is done by the attribute command, that is done by the query, that is used with the select statement. Then we have also discussed about the OLAP, that is the important concept, and that is the last topic of this chapter. That is what's OLAP, that is the online analytical processing system, that is the OLAP. So whenever we do the analytical part, whenever we use any system that is of analytics part, and we are process them, or we are doing the processing using the online method, that is known as the online analytical processing system, that is the OLAP system. That is an interactive system that permits an analyst to view the different summaries of multi-dimensional data. That is how the data will be available, or how to maintain the data, that is also a part of the OLAP. So it's an interactive system that permits an analyst to view what are the different summaries of data, or what are the summaries of the multi-dimensional data. The word online indicates that an analyst must be able to request new summary and get the response online. So everything is done online within a few seconds, without going to somewhere, without going to anywhere, and to also to find out the long query, or there is a long time to receive the result of a query. There are many OLAP products that is also available. That includes that that used with the various database products such as Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, and the other standalone tools. So there are many tools that is also available with the OLAP products. That is everything is online. The initial version of many OLAP tools assume that data in the memory resident or data that is available is the memory resident. Next is the online analytical processing. That is how to do the online analytical processing. What are the various criteria? What is the command that is, or what is the query that is used for the online analytical processing? So consider an application where a shop wants to find out what kinds of clothes that is popular. That is what type of clothes that is popular in the demand that is a or that is done or that is assumed by using the online analytical processing. So this is an example that the clothes are characterized by their item name, color, and the size, and we have a relation that is a sales with the schema. So this is a sales, this is the item name, this is the color, cloth size, and the quantity. These are the various figures that we have taken out, and these item name is divided into three parts. One is a skirt, one is a dress, one is a shirt, one is a pant. There are four parts: skirt, dress, shirt, and the pant. And the color is divided again into four parts or three parts. That is a dark, pastel, white. Three parts, and the size is also three: small, medium, and the large. And we also discussed how to use the cross tabulation table, how to use the pivot table, how to use the cube for the generation of the term, that is a three-dimensional data cube. So in our example, the cross tab is used or has an extra column and an extra row that is storing the total of the cells in the row and the column. And most cross tab have such summaries of the rows and the columns. That is, there are some rows, there are some columns that is also available for the data accessible. And there is also generalization of the cross tab that is also used, that is known as the data cube. And with an OLAP system, a data analyst can look at the different cross tabs from the same data by interactively selecting the attributes in the cross tab. So whenever we use the cross tab, so that there is a usage is that whenever we use the OLAP system, that is done by the multi-dimensional data cube. And for operation that is performing of changing the dimension, that is used in a cross tab, that is known as the pivoting. So whenever we use the cross tab, whenever we use the data cube, that is known, or whenever we use changing the or change the dimensions, that is known as the pivoting or pivoting. Then we have discussed about the hierarchies and what are the various relational tables and what are the various cross tabs that is also available, and how to implement the OLAP, that is the OLAP implementation, that is divided into three parts. That is a multi-dimensional OLAP in which the multiple or the multi-dimensional tables are used, that is a MOLAP. Then there is a relational OLAP, that is ROLAP. Then there is a hybrid OLAP, that is the HOLAP. So these are the three terms, these are the three methods that is used. One is the MOLAP, that is a multi-dimensional OLAP, relational OLAP, and the hybrid OLAP. And many OLAP systems are implemented as a client server system. So there is a client, there is a server. Server is a computer, that is a main computer that provides the instructions to the client. And how to use the OLAP in the SQL? What is the usage of OLAP in the SQL? That is a select star from the sales. What is a pivot? That is a sum quantity that is used for different color that is used in the various quantities. And these are the various query results that is also available for the data item, that is a query that is given, and this is a decode function. This is a summary, that is a SQL query can be invoked from the host languages, that is via the embedded and the dynamic SQL. So the SQL queries are made for two terms, that is a embedded and the dynamic SQL. So this is the fifth chapter that we have studied. This is a too lengthy chapter. We have finished this chapter within 3 days. So anything, anyways, we start with the next chapter, that is chapter number 6. That is a next part, that is a very important part in which we have studied the relational query languages. What are the relational query languages, how to use them, what are the various methods, what are the various functions that is used with the relational query languages. So let's start with chapter number 6, that is the relational query languages. In chapter number 2 through 5, that is the 2, 3, 4, 5, we introduced the relational model and covered SQL in great detail. So we have introduced the relational model that is also available and covered the SQL in the great detail. In this chapter, we present the formal model upon which SQL as well as the relational query languages are based. So we model upon the SQL language, that is which SQL language it is used and what are the various relational queries that is used with the SQL languages. We cover three formal languages. That is, there are three formal languages. We start by representing or presenting the relational algebra, which forms the basis of the widely used SQL query language. So one of the main part of the procedure, or one of the main part of the relational query language is the is the relational algebra. That is the most important part. Then there is also the part that is a relational calculus, domain relational calculus, that are declarative query language, that is based on the mathematical logic. So whenever we use the mathematical logic, that is done by the relational calculus, domain relational calculus, tuple relational calculus, and the relational algebra. So let's start with the first topic, that is the first part, that is the relational algebra. So let's start with the relational algebra. What is a relational algebra? So the first topic is relational algebra, that is how to use a relational algebra. What is the usage of relational algebra? So this is the first topic, that is a relational algebra. So this says the relational algebra is a procedural query language. So it's a procedural query language. It consists of set of operations that takes two or more relations. So read it carefully. First of all, it is a procedural programming language or procedure query language, and it consists of various operations or set of operations, more than one operation, that can be performed on two or more relations. So it can be performed on that one or more relation or one or two relation, that is it can perform on one or two tables as an input and produce a new relation as a result. So the input is given by the one or two tables and the output is generated by the single table by a new relation by a new table. The fundamental operations that is used in the relational algebra are, so what are the fundamental operations that is used in relational operation? That are select, project, union, set difference, Cartesian product, rename. So these are the we can say the six relational algebras operation that is performed. One is the select, one is the project, then there is a union, then there is a set difference, then there is a Cartesian product, and there is a rename. So these are the six fundamental operations that is performed on the relational algebra. In addition to the fundamental operation, there are several other relations also. That is the set intersection, natural join, and the assignment. So in totality, there are nine operations that is performed, and six are the some basic operations, and six are some other operations. Three are some other operations that is used. What are the six? That is the main part. That is the select, project, union, set difference, Cartesian product, and the rename. And what are the fundamental or additional topics or additional operation? That is a set intersection, natural join, assignment. We shall define these operations in terms of the fundamental operations. Now, what are the fundamental operations? That is a select, project, union, set difference, Cartesian product, and the rename. So select, project, rename operations are known as the unary operations. These are the three operations that is performed on the single relation, that is a select, project, and the rename, because they operate on only one relation. So why they are known as the unary operations? Because they operate on the only one relation. The other three operations that operate on the pairs of relation are therefore known as the binary operations. So only the three points, only the we can say that three operations that is performed on only one relation are known as the unary operations, and the others are known as the binary operations. So whenever there is the involvement of the two tables, that is a binary operation. Whenever there is the involvement of only single table, that is a unary operations. So if I want to rename, that rename is only done for the single table, that is a unary operation. If I want to project something, that is finding out something or finding out the data from the table, that is only only on the single table. In the same way, the select operation is also on the single relation. Now let's start with the first one, that is the important one, that is the select operations. And this is the very important topic as per your assignment point of view also. So please pay attention to this topic. So a select operation select tuples that satisfy a given predicate. So what is the select operation? That selects the tuple that satisfy a given predicate. What is a given predicate? How it is used? We use the lowercase Greek letter sigma to denote the selection. So select means selecting the tuples, that is selecting the rows that satisfy a given predicate. That is, if the condition is satisfied, if the criteria is satisfied, that is giving the specified rows, that is done by the select. So whenever I want to select the rows from the large number of rows, that is known as, or that is done by the select operation. And the select operation is denoted by or represented by the sigma sign. That means selection. The predicate appears as a subscript to the sigma. The argument relation is in parenthesis after the sigma. So whatever the argument relation that is used, that is represented in the parenthesis after the sigma. So parenthesis is also used for after the sigma. Therefore, to select those tuples of the instructor, this is the instructor relation, where the instructor is in the physics department. So if I want to find only the instructors from the physics department, so we write sigma department name. So name of the department is physics from the instructor table. So how do we write? We write the condition in the subscript. This is a subscript. So this is a sigma, that is department name. So what is the criteria? That is the department name equals to physics, and what is the name of the table? That is the instructor table. So department name equals to physics and the table name is instructor. So finding out the those instructors that our department name, that is a physics, that is a department name equals to physics. So if the instructor relation is as shown in the 6.1, then the relation or the whatever the relation that is available, that result from the preceding query as shown in figure 6.2. So we can find all instructors with a salary greater than the 90,000 by writing this one. So this is the another, if I want to find all the instructors having the salary that is greater than the 90,000. So this is sigma salary is greater than 90,000. So this is used to find out the salary that is greater than 90,000. So this will give the name of all the instructors that have a salary that is greater than 90,000. In general, we allow comparisons like using equals to, not equals to, less than, greater than, less than, equals to, greater than, equals to. In the selection predicates, furthermore, we can combine several predicates into a large predicate. So we can also combine the various conditions, various operations, various symbols that is also used for the comparison purpose. So we can use the connectors, we can connect the various operations by using the union, by using the intersection, by using the not sign. So these are the different connectors, these are different connectives that is used. Therefore, to find the instructors in physics with the salary greater than the 90,000. So if I want to find the instructors that have a department of physics and also the salary that is greater than the 90,000. So we combine the two conditions with the help of the predicates, or two predicates combination into the one predicate, that is sigma department name equals to physics. So department name is the physics, and that is connected with the, or that is combined with the salary that is greater than 90,000. So first condition is the department name is equals to the physics and the salary is greater than the 90,000. So finding all those instructors that have a salary that is greater than 90,000 and that have a department name that is equals to physics. The selection predicate may include a comparison between the two attributes. So this is a selection predicate that includes the comparison between the two attributes. What are the various comparison between the attribute? To illustrate, consider the relation department to find all departments whose name is the same as their building name. So the whatever the department name, that is equals to building, that is a department. So whatever the building name that is given, that is equals to the department name. So to find all the department whose name is the same as the building name, that is for this query we write sigma department name equals to building department. This is the result of the sigma department name equals to physics instructor. This is for the physics purpose. Now SQL versus relational algebra. So what is the relationship, or what is the main difference between the SQL and the relational algebra? So the term select in the relational algebra has a different meaning than the one that is used in the SQL, which is unfortunate historical fact. In relational algebra, the term select corresponds to what we refer to as SQL as a where. So whenever we use the select command in the relational algebra, that is the select means the using the sigma sign, that is similar to the where clause that we are using the where clause in the SQL command, that is the where department equals to physics, where the salary is equals to that, that is a whatever the condition that we are giving in the SQL by using the where clause, that is the same as the when we give the select in the, or when we use the select in the relational algebra. We emphasize the different interpretations here to minimize potential confusion. That is, what are the different potential confusion that is used with the relational algebra. Now, first operation, next operation is the project operation. So we are finished with the select operation that is used for the selection, that is represented by the sigma sign, that is the sigma department name equals to physics, that is the select operation. Next is the project operation. So suppose we there is a project operation that is allows to produce the, or that is a unary operation that returns the argument list, that is a project operation. Suppose we want to list all the instructors ID, name and salary, but do not care about the department name. So suppose there is a condition, if I want to find the instructors ID, their name, their salary, but do not take the condition or do not find the condition about the department name. So the project operation allows us to produce this relationship, that is only printing the results without any condition, that is simply select the object. So the project operation allows us to produce this relation. So what is the project operation? That is allows us to produce this relation, that is how the projection will be performed. So the project operation is a unary operation that returns its argument relation. That is what is the argument relation, how it is used? That is a unary operation. That means it works on only single table with a certain attributes left out. Since a relation is a set, any duplicate rows are eliminated. So relation is a set, or relation is a, we can say, the group. Any duplicate rows that is also there in the relation, that is also terminated. So the project operation is used to perform the various projection to produce the relation, and projection is denoted by the sign, that is a pi. So it is denoted by the sign, that is a pi. We list those attributes that we wish to appear in the result as a subscript to the pi. In the same way that we write in the select operation by using the sigma, in this we have to write using the pi. The argument relation follows in parenthesis. So whatever the relation that is given, that is available in the parenthesis, just like this one. This is the relation, that is a table. This is also the relation, that is a table. The argument relation following in the parenthesis, we write the query to produce like this one. This is the project, that is projection of the ID, name and the salary from the instructor table. Now next is the composition of the relational operation, that is what are the various composition of the relational operation, what are the various composition, that is the parts of the relation. So what is the composition of relational algebra, that is what is the composition of relational operations, that is what are the various operations and how to perform, or what are the various composition, we can say the mixture of the relational operations. The fact that the result of a relational operation is itself a relation. So whenever we find the relational operation on any relation, that gives the output as a relation. That is very important. Consider the more complicated query, that is the find the names of all the instructors in the physics department. Now if I want to find the names of every or of all the instructors that is available in the physics department, so I want to find the names of all the instructors in the physics department. So we use the ID, then the name and the salary. This is the result of the ID, name, salary that is given over here. This is the ID, name, salary of all the employees of the instructors. Now for giving the queries, that is the finding the name of all the instructors in the physics department, that is a sigma, or that is a pi name. So that is a name. Then using the select operation, so first of all finding the names, that is a whatever we want to find, that is given by the project operation. Then select, that is the selecting means applying the conditions, that is what is the condition, that is the department name equals to physics from the instructor table. This is select department name equals to physics, that is the name of the department is physics, and the table or the relation that is used is the instructor. So this is a sigma, that is a department name equals to physics, and the name of the relation is instructor. So that is the department name physics, that is the instructor from the instructor table. And there is a pi that is used as a name, that is a pi means the project the operation, select the operation, that is done by the pi, that is a name. Right. So notice that instead of giving the name of the relation as an argument of the projection operation, we give an expression that evaluates to a relation. So in this we are using the projection as well as the selection. So for display purpose, for giving the command purpose, we use the pi, that is a projection, and for selection purpose, for condition purpose, we apply the, or we use the sigma, that is a select operation, that is a select department name equals to physics from the table instructor, and finding the names of all those employees that have a department name equals to physics. Notice that instead of giving the name of the relation, we use the expression that gives the argument or that evaluates to a relation. In general, since the result of a relational algebra operation is of same type relation as its input, relational algebra operations can be composed together into the relational algebra expression. So we are also using the relational algebra operation that is composed together into the relational algebra expression that is given. So composing relational algebra operations into relational algebra expression is just composing the arithmetic operations into the arithmetic expressions. So it is nothing but simply converting the relational algebra operations into the relational algebra expressions, and that is just giving the composition, or that is just converting the arithmetic operations into the arithmetic expressions. Now we study the formal definition of relational algebra expression in 6.1.2. We have already studied what is a relational algebra expression, that is the 6.1.2, that is done by the project operations. Now we will study in this the 6.1.2, like this one. There is a 6.1.5, 6, and there are so many. Then 6.1.2, there is a next operation. This is 7, so there are multiple operations we will study after these operations, right? Now next is the union operation. So we have studied about the composition of the select and the project. We have studied about the selection. We have studied about the projection. Next is the union. That is, a union means a combination. So consider a query to find the set of all courses that is taught in the fall 2009 semester, the spring 2010 semester, or more. So if I want to study the courses that is available in the 2009 semester as well as the spring 2010 semester, that is the fall 2009 semester, spring 2009 semester, or both, that is either the fall 2009, either the spring 2009, or the both, combination of both. The information is contained in the section relation that is available. So whatever the information that is available in the section relation, this is 6.4, to find the set of all courses that is taught in the fall 2009 semester. So if I want to find whatever or whoever the person that is available in the 2009 semester in the fall season, this is pi course ID. We have to find the set of courses, so we have to identify, we have to select, or we have to take the course ID, that is a pi course ID. What's the, we can say the condition, that is a sigma semester equals to fall and year equals to 2009, that is the union. That means year is also 2009 as well as the semester is the fall. If the both the conditions are true, then only the output will be displayed. And from which table? That is a table name that is given, that is a section. So what's the condition? That is semester equals to fall and the year equals to 2009. Both the conditions are satisfied and both the conditions are joined by their connector, that is known as the union connector. This is the union, right? And this is the pi course ID, that is finding the course ID. Now to find the set of all courses that is taught in the spring 2000 season, we use semester equals to spring and the year equals 2010. So in the fall season, that is semester equals to fall and the year equals 2009. In the spring season, semester equals to spring and the year equals 2010. Now to answer the query, we need the union of these two sets, that is need the section ID that appears on both of the two relations. We find these data, that is a course ID, section ID, semester, year, building, room number, time slot ID. That is a section relation that is given. Now this is the course that is offered in either the fall 2009 or the spring or both semesters. These are the various courses, like this one. This is the summer, this is the summer, this is the fall, this is the spring, this is the fall. So I identify all those courses, that is the spring 2010. This is the spring 2010. This is CS 101. This is CS 101, and the fall 2009. This is the fall 2009. That is again the CS 2009. So both the entries are available over here with the one entry. Then there is a fall 2009, that is a CS 347. So this is CS 347. So like this, there is available either the spring 2010 or the fall 2009 or the combination of both. That is the fall 2009 and the spring 2010. Right. So to answer the query, we need the union of these two sets, and we will find that the data by the binary operation union denoted in the set query by the U. So the expression is this one. That is, if I want both, that is, we use the union operation in this one. The result relation for this query appears in the figure 6.5. So this is the output that is given. That is the courses offered by the 9, 4 2009 or the spring 2009 or the combination of both semester, that is the fall 2009 and the spring 2010. The result relation for this query is available in 6.5. Notice that there are 8 tuples in the result. even though there are three distinct courses offered in the fall 2009 and the six different offered in the spring 2010. Since relations are set, duplicate values such as 101, that is the first that we have studied, that is available in both the semester, are replaced by a single occurrence. So if the both the or one course ID that is offered by both the spring and as well as the fall, so that is replaced by only the single occurrence, that is given by only the single occurrence. Observe that in our example, we took the union of two sets, both of which consist of the course ID values. We must ensure that unions are taken between the compatible relations. So if I want to generate the union, that must be compatible, that must be generated on the compatible relations. That is, they are compatible with each other, two relations. It would not make sense to take the union of the instructor relation with the student relation. Although both relations have four attributes, but they differ on the salary and the total credit domain, because instructor is different and the salary is different. So that is not the concerned part, or instructor is different and the student is different, because student does not get the salary but the instructor get the salary, so their salary part is different. So union of these attributes would not make any sense in the situation. So therefore the relation union operation is valid whenever the two conditions are satisfied. So if the two conditions are satisfied, then only the union will be valid. Now what are the two conditions? The relation R and the S must be of the same arity. That is a R relation, that is the relation 1, table 1 and the table 2 must be of the same arity. That is, they must have the same number of attributes. That both the relations have the 5 attributes, 6 attributes. If in one relation there are 4 attributes, in another relation there are 5 attributes, that does not work. So both the relations have the same number of attributes. Second point, the domain of ith attribute of R of and the ith attribute of S must be the same. So whatever the attribute, whatever the we can say the transaction that is given for the attribute that is given for both the relation, that must be of same. So first of all, the number is also same and the attribute of one part is equals to the second part is also the same. Note that RSN can be either database relation or the temporary relation that are a result of the relational algebra expression. So this is how to make the union or how to find the union among different relations. Now next is the set difference operation. So that is what is the set difference of operations, or how to find the set difference operation. So the next part is the set difference, or how to find the set difference between the two operations, that is denoted by the minus sign. So the set difference is operated or denoted by the minus sign, that is a negative sign, that allows us to find the tuples that are in one relation but are not in the another relation. So if I want to find the two relations, if I want to find the set difference, so that is the tuples, or finding out those tuples that are not in the that are in the one relation but not in the another relation, that is a set difference. The expression R minus S produces a relation containing those tuples that are in the R but not in the S. So whatever the tuple that is available in the R, that is not available in the S, that is the R minus S. So this is the course offered by the fall 2009 semester but not in the spring 2010 semester. This is the output of some query. Let's see which is the query. So we can find all the courses that is taught in the fall 2009 semester but not in the spring 2010 semester. So this is the set difference example, that is finding the relation that are not in the fall 2009 semester but not in the, or that is taught in the fall 2009 semester but not in the spring 2010 semester. This is the part course ID. Then semester equals to fall and the year equal to 2009. What is the relation name? That is a section. Then there is a course ID, that is a semester equal to spring and the year equal to 2009, that is a section. So there is a negative sign in between this one, that is a negative sign. So finding the course ID of or finding the course ID by using the projection operation, that is a pi, and the semester equals to 4 and the year equal to 2009. So what's the semester name? That is a 2004 and the year equal to 2009, and finding the difference between them, that is a semester equals to fall and the semester equal to spring. So whatever the course ID that is available or that is used for the fall 2009, that is not available in the spring. So that is the result that is given in this one. So this is course offered in the fall 2009 semester but not in the spring 2010 semester. So these are the various courses that is offered only in the 2009 semester but not in the spring 2010 semester. As with the union operation, we must ensure that the set differences are taken between compatible relations. So there is a set difference that is also available or that is also taken between the compatible relations. Therefore, for a set difference operation, that is R minus 1 has to be valid we require that the relations, that is the tables, R and S of the same arity, that is the same attributes are given and the same number of attributes are given, and that the domain of ith attribute of R and the ith attribute of S must be the same. That is there are two conditions that is also satisfied, that is they have the same number of attributes and they have the same order of the attribute and they have the same ith attribute of R must be matching with the ith attribute of the S. That is a set difference. Now next is, if I want to find the Cartesian product, that is denoted by the multiplier sign, that is a multiplication part that is also given in the Cartesian product. This I am not taking right now because there is no student available right now, so this is a very important concept. So we have covered the projection, we have covered the selection, we have covered the comparison, we have covered the union, we have covered the set difference. 5 operations we have covered. Next is the Cartesian product operation that I am not going to cover right now. I am covering this topic in the next class, that is in tomorrow's class. So that's all for today's session. Please attend these classes because these are the important concepts. So I agree you are working students, so there is a difficult to attend, but please try to attend the classes because this is beneficial for you only. Okay, so that's all for today's session. Thank you so much everyone for listening me, and bye bye. And if there is any doubt, you can ask the doubt from me through mail, through chat, anything that you like. So that's all for today's session. Thank you so much everyone. Bye bye.